Hello everyone. That day has arrived, the beginning of online classes. You should have logged on by now, and if you haven't, what are you waiting for? There are several things you need to do before jumping into the course. One, make sure you watch and respond to my welcome memo. Not many people have done that. I don't know why, because it's the first thing you see when you log on to the announcement page. You should have received it in an email as well. If you registered later than last Friday, I mailed it out last Friday. So you should have gotten it in the email as well. Click on the Getting Started link and follow the instructions on that page. I have it right here. You'll see first steps. It tells you what to do. And then fill out the Memorandum of Understanding and the Touro College and University System Academic Integrity Statements. Those are ungraded, and if you do one and you see you got a 0 on it, don't panic because it doesn't count for a grade. But I cannot give you a grade, a final grade, unless you have filled out and signed both of those statements. So make sure you do that before you do anything else. Number 3, click on Coursework by Session in the left-hand menu and begin work in Session 1. And I mentioned this already in my welcome memo, but I'll go through it again. If you go into Coursework by Session, that's where you'll start every session. You'll see I have the date, January 24th to February 4th, so you have about a week and a half to do that. Click on that and you'll see this is the format that all Touro professors are supposed to use now. Everything is laid out systematically. So you should have no problem figuring out what has to be done. I've already received an email about the discussion board. You'll notice that the assignments aren't detailed here. To get detailed information on your assignments, you have to click on Learning Activities Assignments. There's your baseline survey. You need to fill that out before you do anything. So you do not need citations or references. So please don't put those in this version of it. You'll do a final baseline survey, which is due the session 11 or session 12, where you will use citations and you will use a reference list. And you will see that in every session as an anchor activity. And I will show you where it is. I will go back to the session page and you'll see this anchor activities are going to be in every single session. So you will have a reminder every session that these are your anchor activities. There's vocabulary in your own words, which you fill out using your own words as you go through the session. And there's the final baseline survey where you fill it out as you are learning. So by the time you're done with the course, your final baseline survey is completed and you don't have to worry about it because there are many things due in the last 2 sessions. So work on that as you go through the course. Then respond to the writing prompt for the Assessment Literacy Discussion Board. Create a Word document with appropriate APA format and upload it to checking by SafeAssign. The initial post is the only time you need a reference list or citations. If you're using in your response posts, if you have a new source, then you should cite it and put the reference down for the rest of us so we can access it if we want. And so I can access it because I'm always building on this course and adding more resources to it. Every so often you'll see a student's name next to a resource that I have in the course, thanks to so-and-so. Okay, so you also should respond to the introductory discussion board. And you'll see, I'll click on that now, and if you go over here in the left-hand column, you'll see discussions. That will give you access to any discussion that's available. This is my what session, this is my 6:40:20 session, and you'll see that, that I have some people that have responded already, 7 people, including me. This is a Wordle that I create as you add comments. So this is the first one for this section. So I had enough comments to make a Wordle. A Wordle is a neat website where you can see that these are the words that are most commonly used. So if you're brainstorming with your students and they are writing down comments, this will highlight the comments that are most often used. You can see here history, teacher, grade, teach, live, island. It's people live on Long Island. So go into that first. It's optional. You can see in this one, you can create a thread. This is one of the few discussion boards, the only one I think, where you can create a thread. The rest of them you have to reply to my post. So that's an optional assignment. Please consider doing that. It's really gets us to know each other. So that's the introductory DB, and then the regular discussion board assignment on assessment literacy. I already received an email on this. Again, if you go into the assignments, learning activities or assignments, or I'm going to click on the discussion page, you'll see the writing prompt here. Someone wrote me and said, what are we supposed to say in this discussion board? Well, there's the writing prompt right there. I even have links to the articles, some of the articles you have, and I also have a strong initial post, a weak initial post, and a strong response post exemplars here. So everything I do is trying to guide you in the right direction to get an A+. I've already explained in the discussion board, if you go into the assignments, coursework by session, assignments, and learning activities, you'll see I have a video posted below the, here's the assessment literacy discussion board. Here is a video discussing the rubric, discussing discussion boards, how you can get an A+, how you can get an A. I've already received an email on this. You know, why do we have to respond before 3 days? Well, that's not true. To get an A, you have 7 days to respond for your initial post. You can see here, first 7 days, and this one says to get an A+, it has to be made within the first 4 days. So that's an A+. So don't be angry that if you can't respond within the first 4 days, because you have a week to make your initial post to get an A, which should be everybody's goal anyway. But I'm rewarding people who get on early, and those are the people that will get an A+ for the discussion boards. So I believe that's it. We will be using the 8th edition of the Popham text. I have a link on, if you scroll up, and if you scroll up to textbooks, you'll see there's the classroom assessment. You can click on any of these links. I would recommend VitalSource and and rent the e-textbook. That's the cheapest way to do it, unless you want to keep this textbook. I have 2 other textbooks I use, but I have links to those. This one this is a special needs assessment, so if you're going to be a special educator, this might be a good one to have, to buy. And this is by Chappuis and et al. Chappuis, Stiggins, Chappuis, and Arter, 2012, which is, we'll be using it when we create our selected response test. So that's it for my first day. It went longer than I wanted to. Good luck to everybody, good learning, and go Pats.